Thank you, Christy, and greetings to everybody, um, friends, members, supporters of IAWJ. It is such a pleasure to get together on this, the first International Day of Women Judges. This kind of international recognition has been a long time coming for women judges worldwide. But it is so important because it does recognize that women not only belong in the judiciary, are in the judiciary as they should be in every place where decisions are made at all levels, but that we make a vital contribution to the proper functioning of a judicial system. As you can see, we have designed today's events. There's one at this time, there's another one 6 hours later. We're trying to accommodate people's time zones. It's impossible to get it perfect for everybody, but we're doing what we can. And we are recording the event so that others can watch it later. But it's really internal, it's for us. We're talking with each other about where we've been, where we are, where we see things going, the successes and the challenges. But we are celebrating with each other, so it's an informal format. We're going to have a conversation, and at the end, we hope to be able to take some questions from the audience. We have four wonderful IAWJ judges who will be joining the conversation this morning. But before we do that, we have a brief introduction from IAWJ President Susan Glazebrook of the Supreme Court of New Zealand. So Christy, if you could please show that video now.
Okay, give me 1 second.
كم بلان جاب بزني خوب مشات.
My apologies, this worked earlier, and let me make sure you can see it now. Okay, give me 1 second. Apologies. Okay, pause. And let me make this smaller. There we go. I think we got it now. I think we got it. There we go. I think we got it. One moment. My apologies. It was people, I was receiving notices that you couldn't hear the audio. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
We can
I'm
see it,
so,
but can't.
you can't hear it. Okay. I'm not
Right.
sure what the problem is. And I do apologize. Vanessa, if you wanted to go
Yeah.
ahead and get started, because I don't want to hold people up, but
Yes, let's do that.
let me see if I can figure out what's wrong. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Chrissy. As we said, this is going to be an informal conversation. And as we know, these things happen. So let's just get started. What I'm going to do is just present a very, very short introduction for our panelists right before I ask them a question. Each of these judges is incredibly accomplished and has done so many things, received so many awards. We could be here all day. I am not going to go through a complete introduction. I'm going to start with Justice Aisha Malik, who is here with us this morning or afternoon, wherever you are, evening. And she became a judge of the Lahore High Court in 2012. At the time, she was the only woman on the bench. In January of this year, I think this is an early present for International Day of Women's Judges, she was appointed to the Supreme Court of Pakistan, the first woman to have been appointed to the Supreme Court after 75 years. As a judge, she has authored many judgments that reference the rights of women. The one that caught the eye of many people in the international media and community was the judgment that declared that the two-finger test to check on virginity was unconstitutional and against the dignity of women. She has played a significant role in highlighting the significance of the gender perspective in the judiciary. Justice Malik, welcome, congratulations. As I said, your nomination to the Pakistani Supreme Court, we celebrate on this first International Day of Women's Judges. And what
Thank you.
And
go ahead.
And what I wanted to ask you, and it's following up on what I just said, is when IWJ was founded many years ago, there were 50 what we call founding mothers who met in San Francisco in '79. And for some of them, it was the first time they had ever even met another woman judge, let alone been in a room with dozens of them as we are here today in this meeting. Now, you have lived and worked in a different world in the sense that you started later than that in the judiciary, but in some ways you also were the first and only woman in the room. Can you tell us about that experience and what membership in the IAWJ has meant to you and what it has given to you?
Yes, thank you. So when I became a judge of the Lahore High Court, I was the only woman in a court of about 45 men. And it took me some time to figure out exactly how I was to behave, what was appropriate, what was not, because we have to keep in mind that the rules are all made by men. And when you start thinking about those rules, sometimes you feel that these rules don't suit me or they don't work for me. So the first conference that I attended was in San Diego in 2016. And I had exactly the same sentiment that being in a room full of women judges, it gave me such a lot of confidence. And it's like the light went on and I suddenly realized that this is who I am. This is what I am. And I don't need to conform to rules that have been made. I need to make my own space and I need to make rules that work for me, for my gender. And so began the idea of starting to talk about the gender narrative and to talk about the gender perspective. So the IAWJ introduced me to a community which had experience, which shared stories similar to mine, and which gave me a place where I could also talk about simple things, you know, something as simple as how do you dress when you go to court, or how do you go out with just a lot of men and no other woman, and how do you manage family things. So it's a great place. I've made a lot of good friends, and I continue to follow stories, and I like sharing my own experiences. So I think that's what the IAWJ has given to me.
Thank you, Justice Malik. And if I may now, I will now turn to Justice Margarita Beatriz Luna Ramos, who is retired from the Supreme Court of Mexico. She is the IAWJ Vice President and past president of the Mexican chapter of the IAWJ. She has had a career within the Mexican judiciary that has gone from being a judicial officer when she started out to being on the Supreme Court. And she also presided over the Committee for Equality, the Interinstitutional Committee for Equality and Gender of the Mexican judiciary. I'm not going to mention, as I said before, the many awards that she has received, but I know that two that are especially near and dear to her heart are the Barlene Pack Global Vision Award she received from IAWJ last year, as well as the National Jurisprudence Award of the Mexico Bar Association. So, Margarita, here we have Justice Malik, who is just beginning on the Supreme Court. You recently completed your incredibly distinguished career after 15 years, your 15-year term on the Mexican Supreme Court. Can you tell us about your experiences as a woman in that environment, and specifically about how you became involved with the International Association of Women Judges and the impact that has had for the women judges in Mexico, half a world away from Pakistan?
Muchísimas gracias, muy buenos días a todas y a todos. Es un placer estar el día de hoy con ustedes. Agradezco a la asociación, un saludo a nuestra presidenta y desde luego mi agradecimiento a la jueza Vanessa Ruiz por la invitación a compartir este panel con tan distinguidas juzgadoras de todo el mundo. Quiero hacer rápidamente un reconocimiento a la jueza Vanessa Ruiz, porque el día de hoy yo creo que es un día muy especial. Es el primer día que festejamos el Día Internacional de las Mujeres Juezas, aprobado recientemente por la Organización de las Naciones Unidas, y esto se debió al entusiasmo, al esfuerzo de la jueza Vanessa Ruiz, que logró en la Declaración de Qatar que se hiciera esta solicitud ante la ONU y que finalmente salió discutida y aprobada. Gracias, Vanessa. Esto te lo debemos a ti. Muchísimas, muchísimas gracias. En cuanto a la pregunta que me formulas, pues lo que te puedo decir es lo siguiente. En 2015 yo fui nombrada en la Suprema Corte presidenta del Comité Interinstitucional de Igualdad de Género, y eso pues nos propició formar, pues más que nada, propiciar un encuentro mundial en el que invitamos a muchas juzgadoras internacionales. Ahí tuve el honor de conocer a Vanessa Ruiz, a Susana Medina, a varias de las juezas que forman parte de la Asociación Internacional. Y ahí ellas nos invitaron a participar a la Bienal de Washington en 2016, que fue a la primera que acudimos. Realmente fue maravilloso para nosotros encontrarnos con juzgadoras de muchos países, compartir experiencias, mejores prácticas, y dijimos, bueno, nos parece que el hecho de que haya mujeres juzgadoras de todas las razas, de todos los idiomas, de todos los países, son mujeres juezas sin fronteras prácticamente. Entonces, regresamos con la idea de formar el capítulo México de la Asociación Internacional, Y debo de decirles que ahí tuvimos el apoyo decisivo precisamente de quienes se encontraban en ese momento en la presidencia, que eran Susana y Vanessa, que era la presidenta electa, y logramos reunir a todas las juezas de México en esta asociación. Debo mencionarles, mi país es un país federal donde hay dos fueros, el fuero común y el fuero federal, y estábamos muy distantes todas las juzgadoras. En el momento en que propusimos la organización del capítulo México, pues fue un sueño realizar esa unión entre todas las mujeres de diferentes fueros, de diferentes competencias, juezas de diferentes materias, pero todas unidas en el afán de lograr introducir la perspectiva de género en nuestra labor de impartición de justicia y lograr mejores políticas públicas en nuestras diferentes instituciones, precisamente para lograr la igualdad de oportunidades entre hombres y mujeres. Y bueno, esto hoy ha cristalizado en que México es una fuerza muy importante de la Asociación Internacional, que creo que después de Argentina somos las que tenemos una matrícula muy grande de juzgadoras entusiastas que, bueno, hoy por hoy no sentimos diferencia alguna entre cada juzgadora y estamos prestas a ayudarnos, prestas a hacer políticas públicas para lograr nuestra igualdad.
Thank you, Margarita. Mil gracias. I'm going to, I should say, again, she's being very modest because what she accomplished was to bring together the various groups of women judges in Mexico into one association. And by doing so, make it much stronger. And as she said, much larger, the second largest association of, I guess, the third after the United States, Argentina, and Mexico. But the Mexicans are getting bigger and bigger every day. So who knows, they might overtake everyone. So that's a challenge set up for all the associations around the world. I want to make sure that the diary interpretation is working because I would like to turn to Judge Anissa Rasuli, and I will begin the introduction of her. Judge Anissa, can you please put up your hand if you can hear the diary interpretation of what I am saying now? Perfect, thank you. Judge Anissa Rasuli is a senior judge from Afghanistan who has held many key and influential positions. She was the first woman nominated as a justice of the Afghan Supreme Court. She is a founding member of the Afghan Association of Women Judges, and she has served as its president. IAWJ is proud of the association that it has had with the women judges of Afghanistan generally for many years, and with Judge Rasuli in particular. She has been an active member of IAWJ for almost 20 years. She just last week, I was very proud to hear her accept on behalf of all Afghan women judges, the Global Jurist Award that was presented by the Northwestern University Pritzker School of Law, the International Human Rights Law Center at Northwestern University. As many of you know, the IAWJ since last year has been involved, actively and intensively involved in trying to secure the safe evacuation and resettlement of Afghan women judges. It is an effort that is unique in our history, but made absolutely essential by the conditions in Afghanistan. And what we are following up on is the resolution that was adopted at the IAWJ conference in New Zealand last year, that we would be the voice of the Afghan women judges to the international community, and a bridge to that community, and that we would help them in every way that we can. We are trying to live up to that commitment. Judge Rasuli, we have talked, we have heard now from Justice Malik in neighboring Pakistan, who has just ascended to the Supreme Court there as the first woman, from Judge Margarita Luna Ramos in Mexico, who has successfully completed her term on the Supreme Court of Mexico and has been leading a very thriving association there. I would like you to tell us on this International Day of Women Judges, where we celebrate the accomplishments. Obviously, we also have to reflect on where there have been setbacks and challenges, and nowhere has there been as big a setback and challenge as in Afghanistan. So if you could please tell us about your views and your thoughts of what has happened and what the future is. Thank you.
تشكر از Judge Reese. In the name of Allah, greeting to the members and friends of IAWJ on this call. I would like to congratulate 10th March International Day of Women Judges on behalf of Afghan women judges to all of the judges present in this webinar, all members of IAWJ, to all Afghan women judges, especially to Afghan women who have suffered. Thousands of women have lost their men to devastating war in Afghanistan. As a result, they had become the breadwinner for their families. They are responsible for their children's future. Women judges are not exception. We were born into a society ruled by men. Despite the problems and misfortunes this cause, Afghan women judges have preserved, fought for, and received education. We have worked tirelessly to have professional lives. We believe in the rule of law and waged a battle against corruption. We have served honestly and with dignity. We have worked hard to create positive motivation among our peers. We work to ensure justice, yet all this is reduced to rebel and increasingly strong judicial system was arrested overnight. During the turmoil caused by the rise of the Taliban government, the International Association of Women Judges immediately provide assistance and cooperation to the Afghan women judges. And this assistance continues to this day. I would like to take the opportunity and express my gratitude for their tireless and work especially to the members of the IAWJ Afghan Support Committee. IAWJ has not only provided support Afghan Women Judges Association in the last 7 months, but also has been the main drive behind organizing Afghan women and judges for the past 20 years. I would like to once again express my gratitude and friendship to my esteemed colleagues here and around the world for their invaluable support. Now we are adrift and homeless. Today, women judges, both inside and outside country, face many challenges. Judges have separated from their families and live in a state of limbo. We have the following challenges. Women judges are threatened from the Taliban and the prisoners who were released from the prisons beside the bank account of the judges. All women judges have been blocked, which has led to monetary problem because they don't have any other source of income. Their only source of hope in the IAWJ, and kindly request you to help them transition through this miserable situation. Finally, I would like to request IAWJ to help us gather Afghan women judges together and resume our activities in Afghan Women Judges Association. May women judges always continue to preserve the rule of law. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Rasuli. Those are very, well, they're both terribly sad words as you describe the situation of the women judges of Afghanistan, who, as you say, really face, are in a parallel situation, and they face threats in different fronts. The first, because of the policy of the Taliban, which does not recognize a woman judge. The very thought of that is anathema to them. And as you say, they have been totally erased from the judiciary and from their society overnight. We can't begin to understand what that would be like. Second, they being threatened by persons, members of the Taliban, ISIS, who they have sentenced. They tried and sentenced. And these people have all been released from prison and are seeking personal revenge. The women judges of Afghanistan have been terrorized, in hiding, fleeing from home to home, having to, the Taliban is conducting home searches as we speak. And they need to have, for some reason, my video has completely gone off. I don't know whether, or there's a screen share. I will continue to speak. Can I hear, please, whether other people are having the same problem? No?
Hello.
Yes?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me, yes. I can hear you too, but I'm seeing somebody's desktop is on my screen. I think Florence Mamba is sharing her screen.
Yes, I'm Florence Mumba from Cambodia.
Yes, Judge Mamba, could you possibly not share your screen with everybody, because it means we can't see each other?
Oh, okay. So let me see what I can do. Stop video, I think.
No, that just means I can't see you, but I still can see your desktop. You're sharing your screen. Audrey or Christy, can you possibly help with
You are
this?
screen sharing. So I cancel maybe.
There should be an option at the top of your screen, friends, we can stop share.
Let me see. Pause, annotate, remote control participants.
All right.
Let me see. Stop
Judge
sharing.
Yeah, Judge Mamba,
Yes.
I'm going to mute you, and perhaps you and Audrey can have a chat, a private chat about how to take care of this. And
Yes. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
all right. Actually, I can't find you, and there's a long list of people that I know I can't find you.
Trying to, yeah.
If you could mute yourself, Judge Mamba, please, and just have a chat with Audrey. Audrey, if you could connect with her on the chat and try to deal with this problem. Thank you. If I may go back to the women judges of Afghanistan and the threats that they are facing from the Taliban, from the Taliban and ISIS members whom they have sentenced. And then thirdly, as Judge Rassouli mentioned, there's just a crisis, a humanitarian crisis in terms of lack of access to funding, to food, to fuel. People are hungry, people are cold, people are not getting medical attention. And that includes the women judges who are our sister judges in Afghanistan. We have been working diligently to help them find safe evacuation. The majority of the judges, I am happy to say, there were about 250 women judges when the Taliban took over last August. The majority have been safely evacuated. The majority of those are in what we call lily pad countries, where they are waiting for permanent resettlement. Some would say they are languishing there. We are trying to get visas for them in different countries. Unfortunately, not everybody is opening their doors to them. It is a long and slow and difficult process, and we are continually working on that. There do remain, and they are our first concern, about 85 women judges and their families who are still trapped in Afghanistan. And we are trying to find safe evacuation options for them. But I just wanted to give you an update of our efforts on behalf of our sister judges in Afghanistan. And there has been a lot of progress made, but not enough. And the work continues. And I'm very happy to hear, as Judge Rassouli said, that she would like to revitalize the Afghan Women Judges Association, even as its members are scattered around the world. I think that would be a wonderful way for them to seek support and strength from each other. And of course, IAWJ will be there to help with that as well. Thank you, Judge Rassouli, for telling us this story and for your personal courage and dignity through it all, and for leading the Afghan women judges for so many years. I'm now going to turn to Judge Grecia Norcius of the Court of First Instance in Croix de Bouquet in Haiti. She is an investigative judge at the Court of First Instance in Port-au-Prince. She has been a judge for more than 16 years and has worked extensively on cases involving violence against women and girls. She has partnered with IAWJ on multiple projects as a judicial trainer on trafficking in persons. She has contributed as a trainer for more than 500 judicial actors, police officers, and journalists in a project to fight against human traffic in Haiti for more than 6 years. Judge Norcius is a member of CHIFEJ, the Haitian chapter of the IWJ. Welcome, Judge Norcius. You've now heard from 3 different sister judges in different parts of the world and their experiences. And I've just said a little bit about you and your work alongside IAWJ on the fight against human trafficking, which is of course reflected also in work that is done in other parts of the world. What can you tell us about your relationship with IAWJ, with the Haitian chapter, and how that has made a difference in your work to fight violence against women and specifically human trafficking?
Merci, ex-présidente Vanessa Roos. Bonjour, mesdames. C'est un plaisir d'être avec vous en ce premier jour de commémoration de notre journée internationale de femmes juges. Alors, en ma qualité de membre de l'IAWJ depuis 2006, alors j'ai été activée par les objectifs de cette association en l'intégrant. Et ce qui m'a été beaucoup plus attiré, eh bien, c'était quand, pour la première fois en 2014, j'ai pu participer à la conférence biennale à Arusha, en Tanzanie, là où j'avais pu remarquer la fraternité, l'accueil chaleureux que ces femmes ont pu nous donner et à des centaines de femmes venues de toutes parts dans le monde. Et aussi, j'ai été attirée par la qualité des présentations lors de ces assises qui avaient pour thème justice pour tous. À ce moment-là, j'ai été captivée et captée par ces informations et je m'étais dit que, eh bien, cette association peut m'apporter quelque chose de mieux pour ma carrière professionnelle. Et c'est ainsi, en retournant en Haïti, j'ai dû m'impliquer beaucoup plus dans le chapitre haïtien de l'Association internationale de femmes juges, CHEFEJ. C'est ainsi qu'on a débuté à plusieurs séances de formation. On a eu des séances de formation de formateurs. Au cours de cette formation que l'Association internationale des femmes juges m'a formée comme animatrice, comme facilitatrice. Et depuis, je ne cesse de partager mes connaissances sur la traite des personnes à ces groupes d'acteurs dans le système judiciaire ainsi que des organisations de la société civile en Haïti. Et tout ceci, c'est grâce au support que l'Association internationale des femmes juges a apporté à notre association en Haïti, le CHEFEJ, que j'ai dû développer mes capacités en tant que leader, en tant que facilitatrice de ces formations, car avant, je ne pensais pas pouvoir transmettre mes connaissances et échanger avec mes collègues, échanger avec les autres, car j'étais un peu refermée sur moi-même, j'étais un peu timide, je pourrais dire, mais maintenant, avec les femmes juges et la collaboration, l'interaction, eh bien, je suis devenue une femme qui est leader et j'occupe cette fonction dans le tribunal de première instance de Croix-des-Bouquets depuis 2 ans et mes collègues sont en quelque sorte satisfaits de mon leadership, de mon professionnalisme ainsi que les justiciables. Merci.
Thank you, Judge Norcius. And as you said, knowing that you have support, that you have sister judges, that you're not alone, and that others are committed to the same things, the same values that you have, is very important in our work and in feeling, frankly, stronger to continue it. So we've talked about a little bit about the past and where we are now, but what about the future? What do you see and this I'm going to ask to all of the four who have spoken, what do you see as the new gender-based challenges facing your courts immediately today, but also in the near future? I know we have talked about discrimination against women, gender-based violence, and human trafficking, which is, I suppose, a subset of it. But what new do you see coming up? I'm not saying that those other problems have gone away, but what are the new challenges, the new where we should be bringing a gender perspective? And part of that might be thinking about how are the challenges that women judges face today different from the challenges of their male colleagues? We know some of them are the same, but how could they be different? And maybe I'll start again in the same order, if Justice Malik.
Okay.
Future challenges.
Yes, so that's a lot of questions in one question. I think for me, the biggest challenge in our judicial system is giving visibility to women judges and then acceptability. It's one thing to be appointing judges, women judges, but it's another totally a different thing where the women judges are part of the narrative and we stop thinking about the gender, and it's just we're looking at good candidates, and that good candidate would mean equally looking at women as well as men. At the moment, generally, it's very difficult to even get women nominated to the court for consideration. I think that the mindset has to change, the acceptability has to change, and once we are able to bring in more and more women judges, then we look towards the challenges of changing institutional and structural issues, which are just there, part of the system, which can't change immediately and which really may not want to change as quickly as we would like it or would want it to change. I think one of the main differences between myself and my male colleagues is that I have to make my presence felt, whereas they're always felt and their presence is always there. So I have to remind people that I'm just the same as what they are. That doesn't mean that people don't easily accept me. I think it's just a mindset. It's a way of thinking. With the women judge, you get people generally thinking, that she'll only do a certain kind of cases, or that maybe she goes home early. So you have those narratives that follow women judges, and it will be my endeavor to continue pointing out, these presumptions and assumptions about women judges, about women in general, about how women are depicted in judgments. They have to change. So that for me is the challenge. It's all about acceptability, changing the narrative, changing the mindset. And I think that when women judges share experiences and stories with each other, when they help each other, it kind of gains momentum. So the IAWJ has been a big support for us in Pakistan. They've attended, they've come and they've helped us train judges, and they've attended our courts. They've looked at processes, and from the women perspective, they've pointed out things that can help improve the system for the woman litigant. Most importantly, they've shared their own experiences from around the world. We had these women judge conferences. We've had 3 of them, and the IAWJ participated in 2. And so what that does is that gives you a whole new dimension to think about, that this is something happening around the world. And there are lots of things that you can do to change the perspective. And so one of the things that came about because of these experience sharing that we did is the gender-based violence courts. So we now have designated courts which hear gender-based violence cases, and I think that's a big achievement. Not only does it give visibility and acceptability.
Give me 1 second, please. I'm trying to adjust something here.
Please mute yourself.
So it gives you that visibility. It also gives accountability to the fact that this is a very serious offense, and it should be treated, given all the seriousness with it, and given some respect and dignity to the accused. These are special courts which protect the accused from, the victim from the accused, and give her space, private space in which he can talk about what has happened. And as a consequence of these courts is that more and more women are now coming to court to talk about and to report these serious issues of gender-based violence crime. So I think that the biggest challenge moving forward is making sure that the gender perspective is included in the narrative, and that we are no longer the exception, it's the norm. And then we move from always talking about, the woman judge to just judges, and that you see a whole lot of women judges. So the visibility and acceptability part sort of set root in the system. I can't hear you. You're muted, Vanessa. Okay.
Thank you. Yes, I'm trying to be good here by muting myself. Ministra Margarita Luna Ramos. So Justice Malik mentioned the importance of a gender perspective. And I know that you and your court have been leaders in Latin America and really around the world in bringing a gender perspective to adjudication, and to making sure that not only women judges, but male judges are trained and understand what a gender perspective means, and how it's really not just about favoring women. Can you speak to that, please? Because I know it's something that you are so steeped in. And talk specifically about how you see that into the future.
Muchas gracias, Vanessa. Afortunadamente en México creo que hemos gozado de un gran apoyo de quien ha sido el presidente en turno de la Suprema Corte de Justicia de la Nación, para introducir la perspectiva de género de manera transversal en todos los aspectos de la vida, tanto interna de las mujeres juezas dentro de la institución, como introducir la perspectiva de género en la labor de impartición de justicia dentro de nuestras sentencias, dentro de nuestros procedimientos, dentro de nuestras resoluciones. La perspectiva de género en realidad es algo que nos involucra a todos, como bien lo dijiste, Vanessa. La perspectiva de género no es algo exclusivamente para las mujeres. La perspectiva de género beneficia a la sociedad entera. ¿Por qué razón? Porque vamos quitando estereotipos, vamos quitando prejuicios que tienen fuertes cargas de feminidad, pero fuertes cargas de masculinidad al mismo tiempo. Entonces, cuando se quitan estas cargas que establecen roles muy específicos entre hombres y mujeres, pues se logra un equilibrio. Y eso es lo que la Suprema Corte de Justicia de México ha estado logrando. Desde el punto de vista de políticas públicas, pues se han dictado muchas medidas, sobre todo acciones positivas para lograr que las mujeres tengan un mayor acceso a ser juezas, a ser magistradas. Por ejemplo, debo de decirles que esto es un mérito muy grande que se ha logrado concientizar a los presidentes de la Corte. Hemos tenido ya varios concursos de oposición para juezas y magistradas exclusivas para mujeres. Y esto pues nos da la pauta que aunque todavía nos falta mucho camino por recorrer, porque la diferencia es enorme entre el número de hombres y el número de mujeres, lo cierto es que ya que haya concursos específicos para que salgan solo mujeres, pues va aumentando la estadística poco a poco. Y esto desde luego es una acción positiva muy importante que visibiliza desde luego a las mujeres. También en un momento dado en nuestro país pues tiene competencia en todos los estados de la República y esto se había convertido en un techo de cristal porque las mujeres no querían concursar, no por falta de preparación, sino porque tenían el temor de dividir su familia y de que una mujer esté en el norte del país y el esposo esté en el sur del país. Y bueno, pues la familia se desintegra. Entonces se han dictado políticas públicas en el Consejo de la Judicatura Federal para tratar en la medida de lo posible de no desunir a estas familias y en un momento dado hacer que queden, si no juntas, lo más juntos posible en cuanto a distancia. Hay políticas públicas en cuestiones de guarderías, en cuestiones de lactarios, para dar facilidades a que las mujeres puedan realizar su trabajo. Pero les decía, también los hombres se han visto beneficiados en la medida en que uno se percata que los hijos en un momento dado no son la responsabilidad exclusiva de las mujeres, sino es de la pareja, de los dos. Entonces, ahora en México tenemos ya licencias de paternidad. En el momento en que nace un bebé, el padre también tiene una licencia de paternidad, no solo la madre tiene licencia de maternidad, y entonces es empezarlos a involucrar a este cambio cultural en el que lo que ellos tienen que hacer es involucrarse en el cuidado, en la educación, y en el ver por el crecimiento de sus hijos. Y la otra parte de la perspectiva de género muy importante es dentro de las sentencias que se dictan por los jueces y las juezas. ¿Por qué razón? Aquí debo de decir que la Suprema Corte ha sido líder en emitir criterios en materia de perspectiva de género que han cambiado la cultura jurídica de mi país, donde se han emitido jurisprudencias que se tornan obligatorias hacia todos los tribunales que en un momento dado se encuentran en una jerarquía inferior, y esto se aplica precisamente quitando barreras, estereotipos, quitando desigualdades y dando oportunidades, tanto para hombres como para mujeres. Un caso rapidísimo, las mujeres embarazadas. A los patrones no les gusta tener mujeres que se embaracen porque hay que pagarles hay una licencia de maternidad, hay que sustituirlas, hay que entrenar a otra persona que las va a sustituir. Entonces, ¿qué sucedía? Cuando se daban cuenta de que la mujer estaba embarazada, había que despedirla. Había una jurisprudencia en la corte que decía, bueno, te despidieron, le toca al patrón el acreditar que el despido no fue injustificado. Ah, pero si te ofrece el trabajo durante el procedimiento en los mismos términos y condiciones, entonces la carga de la prueba se te revierte a ti, trabajador. Era la prueba diabólica, no podía probar el despido injustificado porque difícilmente un compañero de trabajo atestiguaba en contra del patrón si quería conservar el propio empleo. Entonces la Corte matizó este criterio y se dijo, no hay necesidad de revertir la carga de la prueba en este aspecto porque se le deja en estado de indefensión a la mujer. Pero también se emitieron criterios importantísimos respecto de los varones, porque por ejemplo nuestras leyes decían que el varón no podía cobrar una pensión de viudez, si la esposa era la trabajadora y él quedaba viudo, no podía cobrar una pensión de viudez. ¿Por qué razón? Solamente que acreditara que él era un dependiente económico de la mujer o que tenía alguna discapacidad. Entonces dijimos, no, las prestaciones laborales son iguales para hombres y para mujeres y cotizaron para este seguro de viudez tanto el trabajador hombre como la trabajador mujer. Entonces, si alguno de los dos fallece, el cónyuge supérstite tiene el derecho de cobrar la pensión, sea hombre o sea mujer, y tenga o no tenga dependencia económica. Como ven, la perspectiva de género es algo que nos beneficia a todos, nos da una situación de igualdad, nos da una situación de confianza en la ley para que llegue el mejor, para que las cosas se hagan en un terreno de igualdad y en un terreno parejo. Eso es lo que ha tratado la Suprema Corte de Justicia en mi país. Podría contarles de muchísimos asuntos que hemos resuelto y que tenemos en jurisprudencia ya obligatoria, pero debo ceder el uso de la palabra a las demás. Sí estamos muy contentas por los avances, cada vez son mayores y esto está dando precisamente la posibilidad de que la aplicación de la ley cada vez le dé más participación a la mujer. Muchas gracias.
Vanessa, you're still on mute.
Yes, thank you. I said, thank you, Margarita. As you can see from her incredible base of knowledge and enthusiasm, why Margarita has been such a leader in Mexico and bringing all of the women judges there together, and of course, as a part of the leadership of IAWJ. Judge Anissa Yan, Judge Rasuli, would you like to say a few words about how you see the challenges to women judges in the future, more generally, and how they are different from the challenges that face male judges? And if you are connected to the Dari channel, you should feel free to respond in Dari, and Farah can translate for the rest of us. Your preference. But you have to unmute yourself. Okay, let me see if I can do that.
Thank you. خب با سلام مجدد و همچنان با استفاده از فرصت من برای خانم عایشه ملک تبریکی میگم موفقیت و بیایم سر چالش هایی که قضات زن افغانستان دارن. در ارتباط با چالش هایی که قضات زن افغانستان داره، یک قسمت از اون رو من مدرک کردم برای شما. یکی از مشکلات بسیار اساسی و عمده که در افغانستان است، مسئله که بود، البته زمانی که ما در افغانستان بودیم، مسئله مشکلات امنیتی بود و واقعا مشکلات امنیتی سبب شده بود که قضات زن قسمی که شاید باید یعنی در تمام سطح افغانستان کار میکردن، این توانمندی از پیششان گرفته شده بود، چون در ولایات به هیچ وجه قاضی زن با اون قسمی که باید کار میکرد رفتن نمیتونست، خصوصا در یک تعداد ولایت ها که امنیت بسیار خراب بود. در ارتباط به توانایی قضات زن و مرد و همچنان امتیازات از اینا، ما در عین شرایطی که برای یک مرد قاضی بود برای یک زن قاضی هم بود و همین رقم که مسئله تحصیل شرط بر مرد بود بر زن بود. منتها با تفاوت از که مردم میتونستن بعضن از مدارس دینی هم بیان شامل شوند، اما خانمای قاضی در افغانستان در مجموع تمام از اینا تحصیل کرده ها بودن و به صورت عموم ماستر و لیسانس بودن. البته مشکل دیگه که در افغانستان فرارای خانمای قاضی بود، خب تعصب بود. تعصب و همچنان چون افغانستان یک کشور سنتی هست و یک تعداد از اقوام یا مردم هنوزه این برایشان قابل قبول نبود که زن قاضی باشه، اما با مبارزات بسیار شجاعانه که قضات زن افغانستان کرد، با همه مشکلات که سپری کردن، باز هم تانسته بودیم که ما در سطح منطقه البته برتر از تمام همسایه‌های خود بتونیم قاضی زن تعدادش زیاد داشته باشیم و جرأت از این داشتن قضات زن که در بهترین موقفات در این سالهای اخیر وظیفه اجرا میکردن، حتی تا دیوانهای عالی استر محکمه. البته مشکل عمده و اساسی که برای قاضی زن مسیر رایشان بود، یکی همی بود که قضات زن چون اکثرا اولاددار بودن و یا نمیتونستن که در ولایات برن و وقتی که در ولایات میرفتن او امکاناتی که در مرکز برای اولادشان برای تحصیل و تعلیم بود، باز در ولایت او امکانات نبود. به خاطر هم یک اندازه مشکلات در ارتباط به رفتن قضات زن به ولایت وجود داشت. اما بان هم قضات زن او کرسی ها و او موقف های را پیش بردن که اصلا واقعا بسیار مشکل بود که سر یک قاضی مرد اعتماد شد. بعضا یکی از محاکمی که من در رأس از او قرار گرفتم محکمه مبارزه با فساد اداری جرایم سنگین بود و در اونجا اولین باره که ایجاد شد من در رأس از او قرار گرفتم و کسایی را در اونجا مورد محاکمه قرار میدادم که بسیار مقامات بلندپایه دولتی بود، از سناتورا گرفته تا وکلا تا والی ها، معاونای والی، شاروالی ها و جنرالا، تورن جنرالا و همچنان او جرایم را مورد بررسی قرار میدادیم که حداقل امو وجه مدابه یا پولیش در 5 میلیون و 10 میلیون میرسید که اصلا در اون محکمه در رأسش از اول تا آخر خانم بود و این هم یک اعتمادی بود که خانم‌ها تانسته بودن گره کسب کنند و در پهلوی ازی ما تانستیم که یکی از مشکلات بسیار عمده و اساسی که زنای افغانستان در راستای قضا داشتن نبود محاکم منع خشونت بود. اون خانم‌ها وقتی که مراجعه میکردن به محاکم و مردای قاضی اون قسمی که لازم بود برشان رسیدگی نمیکرد و همچنان ما بسیار به مشکل تانستیم که قانون مبارزه با خشونت علیه زن تدوین کنیم و بالاخره به توشیح برسانیم تا اینکه بتانم مشکلات خانم‌ها را کمتر بسازد و همچنان یکی از مشکلات دیگه که خانم‌ها داشتن در ما زمانی که خانم‌ها که مشکل فامیلی می داشتن وقتی که به محاکم مراجعه میکردن مردها بود در رأس قدرت و در زمان یک مرد به هیچ وجه طرف یک خانم نمیگرفت یا عدالت به وجه درستش تطبیق نمیکرد به خاطر از اینکه او عدالتش عدالت مردانه بود و ما تانستیم که محاکم فامیلی را و محاکم منع خشونت در سر تا سر افغانستان فعال بسازیم و خوشبختانه که در اون زمان در رأس تمام این محاکم خانم‌ها بودن. اما متاسفانه قسمی که من قبلا گفتم همه آرزوهای ما، همه داشته های ما، همه زحمات ما فقط یک شبه از بین رفت و ما باز هم من حیث یک زن مسلمان امیدوار به این هستیم که دوباره ما بتانیم واقعا در کشور خود شرایط بیاریم که ما دوباره به حیث قاضی عرض اندام کنیم و بتانیم که هم مشکل خود و هم مشکل زنای کشور خود حل بسازیم که امیدواری انشالله هست و با کمک دوستا ما امیدوار هستیم که موفق میشه.
Vanessa, before, please
Thank
excuse
you,
me.
Judge Rasuli.
Vanessa, before we continue,
You know, what you mentioned, if you think about it, although the situation in Afghanistan, of course, is extreme, and none of us is facing anything like that. Judge Malik talked about, you know, having to change what the norm is in order for women judges to really be fully accepted within the judiciary. And Judge Margarita Luna Ramos, Justice Margarita Luna Ramos, of course, mentioned how using a gender perspective can be a way of accomplishing that by looking at the totality really of the circumstances, both as they affect men as they affect women. And what you're talking about also reflected what Judge Ramos said Luna Ramos said in Mexico about the difficulty of women with children and family responsibilities of judges being judges in provinces and lack of services and all the rest. So many of the concerns are similar in different parts of the world. And I'm going to turn to Judge Norcius now so she can tell us from her perspective in Haiti, but also thinking more broadly and towards the future, how you view the challenges and how best to tackle them as we go forward. You're part, obviously, of a younger generation of IAWJ judges, and we definitely look to hear your perspective on the way forward.
D'accord, merci pour la question. Et les défis pour nous et les femmes juges du cheffage sont divers puisque on n'a que 40 ans depuis que les femmes commencent à intégrer la magistrature, puisque c'était plutôt en 1979, une première femme a intégré la magistrature haïtienne. Et c'est cette femme qui, après avoir échelonné les niveaux de la magistrature, a été la première femme présidente de la République d'Haïti. C'est Madame Erta Pascal Trouillot. Et depuis, les femmes ont continué à intégrer la magistrature. En 2012, nous étions au nombre de 60 femmes seulement, et avec le travail que nous autres, les femmes juges du cheffage, on a en quelque sorte aidé les autres femmes, et par notre comportement, notre façon de faire, notre courage dans la magistrature, et de 2012 à aujourd'hui 2022, eh bien, nous avoisinons à peu près 200 femmes dans la magistrature, en comptant des femmes juges et des femmes commissaires, des femmes procureurs, je dis, et pour que vous puissiez bien comprendre. Alors, comme autre défi que nous avons, malgré nous développons nos capacités à être à la hauteur de notre tâche, eh bien, c'est pas facile qu'on nous permette d'accéder à des postes de décision. Pendant ces 40 ans, eh bien, on n'a pas encore une femme juge et présidente à la plus haute cour de justice. On a que Et c'est seulement en 2020 qu'il y a une présidente à la cour d'appel de la capitale, mais c'est seulement par intérim. Aujourd'hui, on est seulement 2 femmes qui occupent le poste de doyen au tribunal de première instance. Et moi, je suis encore par intérim, c'est-à-dire il y a encore de grandes luttes, de beaux combats à mener pour qu'on puisse être accepté dans notre fonction de femme au même titre que les hommes. Maintenant, ce que nous avons comme perspective, alors nous disons en tant que femmes juges, membres de l'Association internationale des femmes juges, membres du cheffage, alors nous nous mettons à travailler pour aider les autres jeunes femmes. Par exemple, nous avons un projet pour accompagner les jeunes finissantes en droit et travailler sur leur mémoire de sortie en vue de la licence et de les pousser à opter pour la magistrature ou du moins pour les autres métiers du droit. Nous les accompagnons en ce sens, nous les sensibilisons à intégrer la magistrature haïtienne. Et en d'autres termes, et ce que nous avons comme perspective, eh bien, nous devons travailler sur nos compétences, sur notre capacité à tenir haut et le flambeau en tant que femme, parce que c'est toujours difficile d'admettre qu'une femme juge en Haïti peut occuper de hautes fonctions, car les hommes, ils s'opposent catégoriquement. À chaque fois, peut-être avec moi dans ma fonction, eh bien, ils s'opposent, ils disent des choses sur ma personnalité, sur mon intimité en tant que femme juge, et ce sont des hommes qui le font. Et ils n'acceptent pas une femme juge dans une fonction de décision. C'est pas facile pour nous autres. Nous devons avoir l'accompagnement de l'Association internationale en ce sens, parce que si nous avons la compétence, nous avons les capacités, nous pouvons accéder à n'importe quel poste de direction dans notre pays. Alors, c'est en ce sens que nous nous faisons de notre mieux pour être toujours à la hauteur en respectant les principes déontologiques de la magistrature, tels que l'intégrité, la compétence et être à l'écoute, être antipathique envers tous, envers nos collègues, envers les justiciables, les suspects et les victimes, envers tout le monde. Et comme ça, nous donnons l'exemple que nous sommes de vrais professionnels, que nous sommes des personnes qui sont capables d'être à la hauteur. Et ainsi, avec la formation des jeunes femmes, avec leur intégration dans la magistrature, on peut arriver avec la parité, un jour quand même, dans la magistrature haïtienne, la parité homme-femme, et surtout à avoir beaucoup plus de femmes dans des postes de décision dans la magistrature haïtienne. Merci.
Thank you, Judge Norcius. So some of the future challenges for you that you see are some of the past challenges as well that we have all faced. Unfortunately, some of the same stereotypes and discrimination continue. As you say, having role models, judges on higher courts so that it could be obvious and visible what women judges can do is important. Mentoring younger judges or lawyers or just younger women and encouraging them to go on to become judges, and doing so by lending a hand so that they know that they will not be undertaking that journey alone is important. We know now how being part of an association can be so helpful in supporting and empowering each other. That, of course, is a mission of IAWJ. The resolution establishing the International Day of Women Judges specifically mentions that the importance of having women judges at all levels of the judiciary, and it ties the inclusion of women to peace, security, and democracy, as a sustainable goal. So it is important to remember that when we talk about women in the judiciary and an advancement of women into higher judicial office, we are speaking, of course, about the right of any individual woman to completely fulfill and use her talents to the maximum extent possible as a result of her own effort. But it is really also part of a much broader effort to integrate women in order to make for better decision making, and that hopefully will lead to a more peaceful, secure, and democratic world. With that, I'm just going to mention a few things. I know that not everybody was able to get interpretation of Judge Rasuli's remarks. This webinar is being recorded and will be posted, and that we will include a translation of Judge Rasuli's remarks or anybody who would like to read them. We're going to hear now, to see and hear, hopefully both, the statement from IAWJ President Susan Glazebrook. At some point, we also will want to take a screenshot of everybody in this room. So we'll ask you to put your videos on. I'm sorry, Christy, I didn't mean to. Okay, you
No,
want to do
not yet,
screenshots
not
now?
at all, not at all. I'm going to try to share the video. I've uploaded it, so
Okay,
just to let
if everybody would put their Zooms on, wonderful.
Oh, so you want me to take,
All
would you,
these wonderful, beautiful, smiling faces.
can everyone hear me?
We're
If you,
celebrating the first ever International Day of Women Judges.
okay, Audrey,
A
if you could
wonderful
let
event
everybody know, I don't know if everyone can hear me, but I'm
that
going
we
to go ahead
announced
and take
last
the
year
picture now. I'm not sure Vanessa can hear me. Can everyone hear
at
me?
the during the conference.
I can hear you. I don't think Vanessa can.
Okay. Could you,
I'm sorry.
someone, I don't know if Vanessa can hear me. So if Vanessa
Can
can't hear
everybody,
me,
okay, I think we're seeing many more people. Okay, we're still missing a few who have not put on their videos on.
Vanessa, can you hear us?
Yes, I can indeed.
Okay, you're not hearing the person who's trying from your tech that's trying to talk to you.
A tech was trying to speak to me. No?
Take the picture.
We're just trying to take the picture, Vanessa.
Okay,
okay. So Anne, if you could let Vanessa know that I'm going to take the picture now. If everyone can smile for me, fantastic. I'll give me one more second and I'm going to change to the next screen. Thank you everyone for smiling. I can see your wonderful faces. Fantastic. Thank you so much. This is fantastic. I love all the pictures. We're going to be posting these. I'm just taking a few more to make sure that I get plenty of good photo of everyone. This is wonderful. One more and we're done. Thank you so much, everyone. I am now going to try to share Susan's greeting with you. Give me 1 second while I set this up. I'm going to share sound and hopefully you all can see the screen. And what I will do is also, this is now on YouTube. So I am going to share the link. We're going to share the link for the video on the IAWJ website as well when we post the recording of this event. So please feel free when we're done with this event to go ahead and watch the video again if there are any problems. So hopefully everyone can hear this.
Greetings to you all. My name is Susan Glazebrook and I'm the President of the International Association of Women Judges, or IAWJ. I'm delighted to be able to send you this message on the occasion of the inaugural International Day of Women Judges. First and foremost, I want to pay tribute to all the women judges around the world who work every day to uphold the rule of law in very difficult circumstances. Those in war-torn countries, those in countries ravaged by natural disasters or by disease, and those judges in countries where the vital role of women judges and the independence of the judiciary are not properly recognised. And I mention in particular my solidarity with our sister judges still trapped in Afghanistan and those who are suffering through the unlawful invasion of Ukraine. This day offers an opportunity to reflect on the past achievements of women judges, but also to map how far we have to go to achieve our goals of upholding the rule of law, promoting gender equality, and ensuring access to justice for all. It also gives us the opportunity to stress to the world the importance of organisations like the International Association of Women Judges and its affiliated national associations in spearheading change. It is highly significant that the importance of women judges in achieving gender equality has been recognised by the United Nations when the General Assembly adopted the resolution designating the 10th of March each year as an official day for recognising, celebrating and progressing the work of women judges around the world. The resolution achieved widespread support. It was co-sponsored by 72 states and adopted by consensus. This momentous occasion has huge symbolic significance. The resolution represents clear support for the participation of women in the judiciary. It recognises the unique talents, perspectives, and life experiences women bring to their roles on the bench. It unequivocally affirms that active participation of women on equal terms with men at all levels of decision-making is essential to the achievement of equality, sustainable development, peace and democracy. Hopefully this day will act to inspire the next generation of women judges and leaders in the law. But above all, the International Day of Women Judges should be a day of celebration of the hard work, sacrifices, and invaluable contributions made by women judges around the globe. We now have a day to show our appreciation for women fearlessly upholding the rule of law, improving access to justice, and forging the path towards greater equality. It is an absolute honour to mark this first International Day of Women Judges with you all. Thank you.
So I do hope that everyone was able to hear that. For your information, we are going to be sharing that video publicly again on the IAWJ website and through the IAWJ social media. When we do so, we will be providing English, Spanish, French, and Dari translations of the transcript once we get a hold of it. So we will be adding that as well for those of you, if the translation was a bit lagged, so we want to make sure that you do have full access. So again, we'll be sharing that link publicly with you all along with translations. I'm going to turn it back over to Judge Ruiz for any final word.
Thank you, Christy. And really thank you to Susan Glazebrook for that wonderful statement that she made. And all I can do is thank our speakers today. Thank all of you for participating. I was so happy to see all of you here today, and we will be posting pictures, I am sure, as well. Not as good as being together and giving each other hugs, but pretty nice, really pretty nice to see everybody's smiling faces. And happy International Day of Women Judges. And we will continue to celebrate March 10th of each year from here on. Here's to you.
Yeah. All the best to
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you.
Happy International Day of
Happy
Women Judges,
International
everyone.
Women's Judge Day.
And
Nice to see
please,
you all.
if
Buen
you
día para todas. Adiós.
Yes, thank you.
good afternoon, have a great day, everyone.
Great day.
Bye-bye.
Saludos desde México. Felicidades.
Gracias.
Yeah,
Saludos
all the
a
best.
todas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you,
Felicitación.
Judge Rasuli.
بله.
Thank you.
بله من بازم بنابه
Hi, everyone.
روز زن قاضی را به همه خانمای قاضی و به خصوص اعضای انجمن بین‌المللی قضات زن و رئیس انجمن قضات زن که واقعا ما را بسیار زیاد همکاری کرده، خدمت همشان تبریک عرض میکنم و امیدوار هستم که همین رقمی که تا موفق بودن و کار کردن و واقعا به زن قاضی خدمت کردن، امیدوار هستم که آینده هم موفق باشن. تشکر.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge Rasuli. Your sentiments are shared by all of us.
Very much. Good luck.
Goodbye. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye. Be safe.
تشکر. تشکر. درسته. خوب است.